What's up guys, Ryan here with Treadaway Training, and today we're going to be talking about the increasingly popular ketogenic diet. And by the end of this video, you will know if the ketogenic diet is right for you or if it is wrong for you. So let's dive right in. First, I will give you a basic overview of the ketogenic diet. When we eat carbs, our bodies break those carbs down into glucose, and glucose is our body's primary and preferred fuel source. However, many organs such as the brain, heart, kidneys, and others can use ketones for energy if glucose is not available. Our muscles can also use ketones for energy for aerobic activity such as jogging or biking at submaximal intensities for long distances. When the body is using these ketones for fuel, that is known as ketosis, which is where the ketogenic diet gets its name from. The ketogenic diet drastically reduces carb intake, which robs the body of the glucose that it typically uses as a fuel source. The dietary fat that is consumed then goes to the liver and is converted to ketones. These two things combined is what caused the organs that we just mentioned to use ketones for fuel instead of glucose. Let's talk about the benefits of the ketogenic diet first. Ketogenic diets have been shown to be beneficial for long distance running. Keep in mind that by long distance running, I'm talking about marathon distance and longer. Ketogenic diets has also been shown to be beneficial for many medical conditions such as cancer, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, and a few others. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, nor is this the topic of the video, so I'm not going to go into depth on these conditions, but if you do have one of these conditions, you might want to consult your doctor about possibly going on a ketogenic diet. Now let's talk about some of the drawbacks of keto. One drawback is that we cannot use ketones to fuel anaerobic activity, which would basically be any short burst of activity such as weightlifting or sprints. On a very low carb diet, you will have less fuel for your workouts, which is important for muscle growth. And after all, most people don't want to just look skinny, they want to look fit. Another drawback is that most people can't stick to a ketogenic diet long term. And before you comment saying that you've stuck to keto for 2 years or 5 years or however long, then that's great. I encourage you to keep doing that. If you enjoy the keto diet, then by all means continue doing that. What I am saying is that most people cannot stick to a ketogenic diet long term. And after all, the most important part of a diet is the ability to stick to that diet long term. Another drawback is that ketogenic diets actually make it harder to eat healthfully. Think about it for a minute. All your fruits gone, with the exception of maybe a few berries because they are much lower in carb content than other fruits. Grains, gone completely, no grains at all. Almost all veggies are also gone with the exception of your very low carb green leafy vegetables. This cuts out many of the micronutrients that we need to optimize our health. And you may say to me, well, I could just take a multivitamin. But my response to that would be, well, if your diet requires that you take a multivitamin to get all the micronutrients you need, then it's probably not the best diet. As a side note, actual ketogenic diets, according to the studies that show the benefits of ketosis, are approximately 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carb. As I just mentioned, all bread, pasta, sweets, most fruit, many vegetables, all gone. So what this means is that what most people call keto is not keto at all, and they are most likely not in ketosis. Additionally, if you are working out and seeking muscle gain, you will most likely have a moderately high protein intake, which can kick you out of ketosis as well, because our bodies can actually convert protein to glucose through a process known as gluconeogenesis. When adapting to using ketones for energy, you will experience symptoms such as headache, nausea, upset stomach, muscle soreness, cramps, among other things. This has popularly become known as the keto flu because of how closely it resembles the actual flu. If you have not experienced this, there's a good chance that you are not in ketosis. Getting back on track, the majority of my audience is interested in fat loss. So how does the ketogenic diet affect fat loss? There are many people claiming, and even some studies showing, massive weight loss in a short amount of time using the ketogenic diet. The important thing here is to distinguish the difference between weight loss and fat loss. For example, there was one study that looked at ketogenic fat loss dieting over the course of 4 days. And what they found was the participants lost approximately 9.5 pounds on average. And this is a large weight loss. But the key here is that almost 4 of those pounds came from muscle glycogen and water, meaning that almost half of the weight they lost did not come from fat. This is okay if your goal is to lose a few pounds for a weight class based sporting event or something similar, and you need to lose a few pounds really fast. But you have to keep in mind that a lot of that weight that you lose will not be from fat. Now that we've established the difference between weight loss and fat loss, the question is, are ketogenic diets better for fat loss? And studies have shown that when calories and protein are equated, there is no difference in fat loss between ketogenic and non-ketogenic diets. Keep in mind, I am not saying that there is anything wrong with keto. I'm merely saying that keto is not better than moderate carb, lower fat diets for fat loss. The key here is this is a lifelong thing. You don't just lose a few pounds and you're done. You have to maintain the weight that you have lost. Most people jump on the keto bandwagon because it's simple. You just cut out carbs, boom. That's all you have to do. Now, if you cut out carbs, you are likely going to be in a very large calorie deficit, meaning you are likely going to lose a lot of fat. But doing this is putting the cart before the horse. Keto will not produce results by itself. Keto is treated as being magical for weight loss in the same way that intermittent fasting is treated as magical for fat loss. People think that these things produce results in and of themselves, but they do not. If you are eating more calories than you burn, you will be gaining fat, not losing it, regardless of what dieting method that you are following. This is why it is so important to understand how fat loss actually works. If you understand calories and you understand macros, you can set your fat loss diet up whichever way you want. If that means you want to do a ketogenic style diet and you want to do high fat, low carb, then that's cool, you can do that. But if you don't want to do a keto style diet, if you like carbs and you would rather do a higher carb, lower fat diet, then you can do that as well. I've linked my how to make meal plans that shred fat video both up in the cards up here and down in the description below, so you can watch that and learn how to set your own diet up the way that you want to set it up. And I have also linked up in the cards and down in the description my video on intermittent fasting if you would want to learn more on that as well. So there you have it. Ketogenic diets do work. They are just not better than non-ketogenic diets. If you like eating high fat, or if you're an ultra endurance athlete, then go for keto. That's perfectly fine. But if you don't fit in these two categories, then you might want to go for a higher carb, lower fat diet instead. If you want to see the nutrition progression plan that I use with my clients with the steps listed in order of importance, you can click the link in the description below. I'll put that as the top link. I've also linked my blog below, which has tons of great free information just like this. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Have you tried keto before? Did you like it? Let me know your experience with ketogenic dieting down in the comments below. And if you have any questions, you can let me know those as well, also down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and get subscribed for more content just like this. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video. I will be back next week with another fat loss topic. As always, God bless you and your family, and I'll see you next week. As a side note, actual ketogenic diets actual ketogenic diets, according to the studies that show the benefits of ketosis, are approximately 70%